We are live.
The Senate will please come to order. Please join me in a moment of silence in lieu of devotional today.
This vaccine will ultimately get us all close.
Thank you. Are there any announcements? Seeing no announcements, we have 2 executive orders for referral. The governor has issued executive order number 02-21 relating to the creation of the Agency of Public Safety. This order is now referred to the Committee on Government Operations. The governor has issued executive order number 02-21 as well relating to the reorganization of the Natural Resources Board. This order is now referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy. We also have 2 Senate bills for introduction. S-33, an act relating to project-based tax increment financing districts, introduced by Senators Sirotkin, Balint, Brock, and Clarkson. First, please listen to the first reading of the bill.
S-33, an act relating to project-based tax increment financing districts.
You've heard the first reading. The bill is referred to the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. S-34, an act relating to funding affordable housing, introduced by Senators Sirotkin, Balint, Clarkson, and Hooker. Please listen to the first reading.
S-34, an act relating to funding affordable housing.
You've heard the first reading. The bill is referred to the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. This brings us to orders of the day. We have on the calendar for action, S9, introduced on January 12th, 2021. It was referred to the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends that the bill be amended as appears on page 4 of today's calendar, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
S9, an act relating to extending certain workers' compensation amendments related to COVID-19.
The chair recognizes the senator from Chittenden for the report of the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. Senator, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Excuse me, I just got a flash that the host had muted me, so I was muted. Okay. Thank you, Madam President. Give me 1 second. Thank you, Madam President. I will be relatively brief here, as what you have before you in this strike all to S9 is probably as close to a technical correction bill without actually being one. And at the same time, it is very much a significant COVID relief bill, primarily for our frontline workers. The law doesn't change or make any new policy. It just extends an important policy that the legislature has already agreed to last June. As you may recall, last summer, as one of the last bills we dealt with in the interrupted session, we passed a temporary COVID relief bill, S-342, dealing with the presumption of eligibility for workers' comp for our frontline workers who contracted COVID-19. And we did so in a unanimous vote. Unfortunately, we set the sunset for S-342 which became Act 150 at January 15th, which somewhat coincidentally is today. Sadly, we could never have imagined 7 or 8 months ago that the pandemic would last as long as it had. So our law from last June now needs to continue until at least the pandemic ends. Madam President, what S9 does, pure and simple, is that it extends the sunset on this rebuttable presumption of eligibility for our frontline workers such as fire, police, and healthcare workers until the governor declares the pandemic over and to be safe for 30 days beyond that. It also extends the same sunset on the authority we gave the Commissioner of Labor to relax some of the existing deadlines and protocols which made processing a workers' comp claim difficult in the COVID environment, such as extending the time to get medical exams in person and submitting medical reports. Madam President, as most of you know, workers' comp provides critical help to our workers in the form of wage replacement, paying medical bills, vocational rehabilitation, and more when they are injured on the job. Generally, it is incumbent on the worker to show that the injury happened at work or in the course of their employment. Usually that is a very easy thing to determine. For example, someone slipping and breaking a leg on the factory floor. However, with COVID, it is quite difficult to know for sure when and where the disease was contracted. So what we essentially did last June, consistent with the remedial purposes and nature of workers' comp, is give the benefit of the doubt in COVID workers' comp claims to the frontline worker. I should note that there are numerous precedents for this in Vermont law. We already give many frontline workers similar presumptions for certain conditions such as PTSD, heart conditions, and certain cancers. Madam President, when we passed the law in June, we were among a handful of states leading the country in this COVID policy. Now, according to NCSL, there are 17 states and Puerto Rico with similar laws. Madam President, before I briefly walk through this very short bill, I should say that the vast majority of our testimony came from Steve Monahan, the state's director of workers' comp. The gist of his testimony is that the law passed in June is working well, and the number of cases that they have seen, which is now in the hundreds, has grown significantly of late, similar to what we see in the overall case numbers of COVID in our state. And I should also note that the administration supports S9 and its extension of the sunset. Turning to the bill, Section 1 is an intent section, which we put in as belts and suspenders because there is going to be a little lag by the time this bill gets to the governor. So the bill, you'll see at the end, is made retroactive to today's date. This intent section will help people understand what we're doing. In the next 3 sections, all we're doing is changing the sunset date from January 15, 2021 till 30 days after the emergency declaration is lifted. It's somewhat unusual that these timeframes were put in the body of the law last year as opposed to just on an effective date or repeal date, but they were put in there, so we had to change it in all of those instances. In Section 3, we talk about the prospective repeal of this new law being, again, 30 days subsequent to the governor lifting the executive order, and the effective date has the notwithstanding clause to make this effective retroactive to January 15th. Madam President, in addition to Steve Monahan, we heard from the Commissioner of Labor, Michael Harrington, Jamie Feehan of the American Property and Casualty Insurance Association, and our legislative counsel, Damian Leonard. Our vote was 5-0, and we hope you will concur. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs? The question is, shall the Senate amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs? Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and you have amended the bill as recommended by the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. The question now is, shall the bill be read for a third time? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Before we vote on this bill, I just want to really thank the chair of the Senate Economic Development Committee. This is an incredibly important bill for so many Vermonters who have been anxious about their benefits. And I know that the chair has been vigilant and diligent in making sure that we could turn this around in short order. So thank you to Senator Sorokin for his hard work on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no or nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered a third reading of S9. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the rules be suspended and that S9, an act related to extending certain workers' compensation amendments related to COVID-19, be placed in all remaining stages of passage.
The senator from Windham has moved that S9 be, the rules be suspended and S9 be placed in all remaining stages of passage. The question now is, shall the bill be placed in all remaining stages of passage? Are you ready for the question? Please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the bill has been placed in all remaining stages of passage. The question is, shall the bill be read for a third time? The bill will now be read for a third time. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
Before third reading, ask if there are any amendments.
Are there any amendments before third reading? Seeing no amendments, the bill will be read for a third time.
S9, an act relating to extending certain workers' compensation amendments related to COVID-19.
The bill has been read for a third time. So the bill, excuse me.
Question is, shall the bill pass?
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the rules be suspended and that S9 be messaged to the House forthwith.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and the bill be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the bill shall be moved to the House forthwith. This completes orders of the day. The chair recognizes the senator from Windham.
Thank you, Madam President. Pending announcements, I move that the Senate be adjourned until I believe 9:30, Tuesday, January 19th, 2021.
The senator from Wyndham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Tuesday, January 19th at 9:30. Are there any announcements? The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education will meet today at 1:15.
The senator from Caledonia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate institutions will meet at 1:30.
The senator from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Finance will meet at 1:30.
The senator from Caledonia is recognized. Senator, please unmute.
Senate Appropriations will meet at 1. We're hearing the overview of the budget adjustment for this fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. The Senate Government Operations will meet at 1.
Thank you. The senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. This is an inquiry and a confirmation that we are here having implicit bias training at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, January 21st.
Is that a question for the president?
That is a question.
Thank you. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Yes, thank you. That was on my announcement sheet, so we'll just jump ahead to my announcements. Thank you, Senator Lyons. Yes, to confirm, there will be a joint implicit bias training on Tuesday from 10:15 to 12:15. It will be led by Bor Yang of the Human Rights Commission and Susanna Davis, the Director of Racial Equity. And as I said before, I apologize for taking up the committee time in the morning. It's very difficult to find time in common that we could all meet. So I appreciate your understanding and flexibility. We all know how important these topics are, and I would rather invite them sooner in the session than to wait. So thank you for your understanding. Tuesday, 10:15 to 12:15.
Thank you. Are there any further announcements? Hearing no further announcements, the senator from Wyndham has moved that the Senate adjourn until Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 at 9:30. Are you ready for the question? If so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, January 19,